Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. My name's Luke White. My role within the audience is Head of Partnerships, and I'd like to just thank the UNO team for inviting me along to speak for the African Agency Tech Summit 2021. The African market is a big focus for us now, and it's something that we really care about, so much so that we now are working to put more people on the ground there. The UNO team are also being a big help with helping us to reach that viable market. Now, a little bit about audience. Essentially, our biggest value as a company is interpretability and how we can help to translate our insights to multi-channel / cross-channel activation, but also how we can interpret that other data which is out there and how we can integrate with other tools. I'm just going to move my face out of the way here. Perfect. So, interpretability. Essentially, we're continually striving to look at how we can make the most out of this SaaS ecosystem and the data that we have access to. We also integrate with a number of different tools, and we complement social listening as a whole very well. That's why today I'm going to focus mainly on how we can help you to get the most out of your activity with the likes of Brandwatch or Pulsar or NetBase. A lot of our clients and a lot of our agencies also work alongside GWI as well. Now, the way in which that works, the biggest focus I would say is audience insights. Now, as you can see here, there's Audience Insights and Audience Connect. That's two sides to our product, two dashboards that make up our entire product. Audience Connect, some people on the call may remember from many moons ago, it was called Social Bro. So it's essentially a very powerful Twitter marketing tool, but it can also be used as an audience management tool. So essentially any valuable influencers or valuable segments you unearth using our audience intelligence tool can be stored there. Audience Insights, like I said, is that powerful audience intelligence tool. It's what delivers to you that segmentation, delivers to you the insights portfolio that helps you to get that deep understanding. It will also help you to get more out of your social listening work. So what we do is we take the conversation from your social listening tool, deliver to you that segmentation. It helps you to eliminate that noise which is sometimes on social, focus on the most valuable people, generate media strategies based on your social listening work, even take some of our segments and put them back into the likes of Brandwatch and use them as a focus point, use them as a focus group, streamline that social listening work by focusing on the exact individuals rather than keywords or hashtags. Now, from there, we do have a number of different clients that we work with. Of course, I've got the biggest logos here that I'm proud of. However, we do work with a number of small startup companies, small agencies, indie agencies, and then some of the largest agencies in the world. Our position in the market, essentially, what you're looking at here, this is some screenshots from G2 Crowd. G2 Crowd is an independent review website, and anyone that hasn't been on there, I highly recommend it, as it will give you that non-biased understanding of the business problems our platform helps to solve. The main reason we're here is for audience intelligence, and as you can see, we've been voted as the leader here, the top leader for audience intelligence. From there, I'm going to flick through some of these slides. I know I've only got you for 20 minutes today, so I want to show you the most effective things. This slide is an eye catcher though, so let me just explain what this slide is essentially highlighting. The way that audience segments is based on interconnectivity. So we show you the who follows who within any audience or within any conversation. Typical old school segmentation was done on demographics. And as we know, that demographics isn't quite the same. I've got another perfect example, which is Ozzy Osbourne and Prince Charles. They're both British. They both live in London. They both around the same age. They probably both have around about the same wealth, but they're two completely different people. So then, when you consider the way in which we should be segmented, or the way in which people just identify themselves, we're looking more at the way they identify themselves by personality, by their values, by their key interests, by their passions, what they care about. Whereas society are more identifying people based on their race or their occupation or their economic status. So we are essentially, by segmenting the way we segment, we are delivering to you the core culture. We're unearthing the cultural relevance within a segment or within a full audience. And we're more than aware now how important it is to be culturally relevant. We're also aware that traditional consumer research, although being quite expensive and perhaps not as dynamic as using social data, it's very hard to stay up to date and at the forefront of that cultural relevance. And that's exactly what our tool will do. It will help to unearth those key passions, what they care about, how they're interconnected, who's following who, to help you to be more culturally relevant. From there, our platform does unearth a number of different use cases for you. It ticks off a lot of boxes. Digital PR and outreach is a big one. Audience research and persona building, of course. Advertising and targeting. Our biggest focus last year within our roadmap was to provide on-demand actionable insights. The on-demand part, if you send a conversation in from your social listening tool using one of our integrations, a report will generate within about 2 minutes. So it's on demand. And then the actionable part, all of our insights are translated to paid activation using a targeting pack to help with your Facebook ads, your programmatic work with your DSP. And then influencer identification, content creation, SEO work. Our tool can be used for a number of different things. Now, from there, why are we delivering that segmentation? Essentially, we're helping you to avoid that personalization trap. We know that mass marketing, yes, it can be efficient and tick a box, but there's a lot of wastage there and it's not accurate, it's not personal. If we look at individual marketing, that's not really sustainable. Yes, it's very precise, very accurate, but it's inefficient in a way, and it's not really it's not really possible to target every single individual with a personal message. However, especially in the world that we live in now with GDPR and in the cookieless world. However, now that our segmentation, essentially what this brings forward is those interconnected groups of people. People that are following each other, we know that they're all similar in a particular way, whether they share a particular characteristic or they care about a certain passion point. And this helps us to be efficient, simple, precise, representative, and strategic all in one hit. Essentially, you're putting the right content in front of the right people at the right time. Let me talk you through this slide here. And also, anyone that's watching the event today, I'm more than happy to share this deck with you. Please feel free to reach out to luke.white@audience.com. I'm more than happy to share this deck with you and answer any further questions. Now, this slide here, this is talking you through how we segment. We segment based on interconnectivity. So we show you the who follows who within any audience or within any conversation from your social listening tool. From there, we can then ask ourselves the question, what is unique about these people? What is the unique thing that's pulling them all together? Why are they following each other? That then helps us to answer those questions. It finds those key passion points, what they care about, to put you in the position to unearth that core culture and also target them in the right way, engage with them in the right way, or perhaps you've just then ticked off the box and you know, okay, these are the people within our conversation that we care about, so I'm going to focus on these people and I'm going to send these people back into my social listening tool to focus on these guys. Just to the right there, it talks about segmenting by inferred interest. This is a different form of segmentation. It's based on affinity, something we're planning to release this year. This is typically if you want to find those big, broad segments of people that have a slightly similar interest, maybe not quite as unique as what interconnectivity brings, but it's perfect for, say, if you need all of your segments to add up to 100% of the audience, or you're looking for a big, broad marketing type campaign. Now, before we jump into the demo, I'm keeping an eye on the time here. Let me talk you through our data engine, the way in which we deliver our insights. Our data engine essentially consists of around about 1 billion individuals with their key characteristics and behaviors. The largest source to that data engine, as in with most of the social media industry now, is coming from Twitter. Our partnership from Twitter allows us to see every single tweet since 2006 and every single follow engagement since 2006. That also means any multi-channel content which has been sent across Twitter, we can see that and we can include it within our data engine. We then strategically go and collect aggregated data as well. So for example, Facebook socioeconomic information. We collect that in a compliant way. Last but not least, we have a partnership with IBM Watson that allows us to enrich that data engine and has allowed us to enrich over 90 million social profiles. So that's over 90 million individuals where we know their needs, their values, their personality traits, what's driving them to make decisions, what their buying mindset is. Now, you're going to have access to that data engine as a customer of Audience. Now, last but not least, a very quick understanding of how we can help to complement your social listening. Essentially, what we're doing is we're taking the handle IDs from your social listening conversation. Those handle IDs are then matched against our enriched data engine, so you automatically benefit from our enrichment process. We then automatically show you that segmentation, which is interconnected community, so who follows who. Considering how busy and noisy social listening can be, this is perfect as it allows you to eliminate that noise and focus on the most valuable people. From there, of course, you can learn more about them. You can see who they're influenced by, what they care about, whether they're more likely to be on Pinterest or Snapchat or Telegram, whatever you need. But it may then be a case, okay, we've ignored these segments because we don't care about these people, or they're too noisy or not relevant to my campaign. But we found this core group of people. We found our social army. These are the people I want to focus on. What you can then do is export those handle IDs, put them back into your social listening tool, and use them as an author panel. Use them as a focus point. Streamline your social listening work to track the individual and not keywords or hashtags. And that's what we're doing today. So let me jump out of here, and I'm going to jump into the demo of the platform. Perfect. Okay. So this is Audience Insights. Like I said, there's two sides to our platform. Audience Insights is what we'll focus on today with my remaining 9 minutes. It's very easy to create a report. You're able to create a report based on conversation, and you can also create a report by profiling attributes. So you would simply just name your report by clicking here. I'm just going to name it as a test, and profile attributes is selected. I'd hit next. In the interest of time, I'm going to be super quick here, but essentially you've got a number of different profiling attributes to allow you to identify that niche granular audience from our enriched data engine. So location is a global data engine, so you can be specific with regards to a country or a city. Language, pretty self-explanatory. Job title, gender, age range, biography, how they describe themselves, followers, who they're following, and then interests. Interests fall down from the International Advertising Bureau and allow you to essentially be a little bit niche and granular with the way in which an individual may fall into one of these categories. I've chosen dog sledding to give you an example as how we can be very niche. I'm keen to jump onto the report. So from here, you've got all of the reports stored in your dashboard. I'm going to jump onto this tab here. And I have chosen a recent conversation that's come over from a social listening tool, and it's based on individuals talking about Airbus and Beluga. Now, the first thing you'll see with one of our reports is that you get a full audience breakdown. The real value is by clicking See All Segments and clicking through to the full report. Then you'll see the network distribution graph. The network distribution graph is created automatically by our algorithm that's following the network principle, highlighting to you who follows who within the conversation. So we're looking at 5,753 people that were part of a social listening conversation, people talking about Airbus and Beluga. From there, our algorithm has found automatically 8 dominant segments. That's 8 segments of interconnected communities. We have got here a Thai segment. We've got here people, we've got writers interested in nature. We have got your aviation photographers. We've got here a segment, a Japanese segment. We have got here a French segment, a UK segment. So you can see, I mean, we're segmenting by interconnectivity, not demographics. However, it's also pulling in together those demographics. So people that are following each other for the same particular reason, but perhaps that's meaning that they're in the same location. Now, the first thing that we can do is, of course, we can see these summaries and automatically, knowing the objective we have or the campaign we're trying to fill, we'll know what segment is more in line with what we're looking to do. Now I am going to click onto the Nature Writers segment. And now that's 11% of the conversation. So we're looking at 637 people that are all interconnected for a particular reason. Now the first thing that we'll be able to do is essentially look at their key demographics. You'll see that everything is compared against a benchmark system. So the benchmark system is here, and you're actually able to change that baseline at any point. You can change that baseline to either a national average or another report, audience, full audience or segmented community you have stored on your dashboard. So everything you do with us, you're able to go back and analyze and use for sort of future recognition. If we scroll down to the bio here, we can see that the term nature completely over-indexes. So no one else in the full audience is using the term nature. So we therefore know that the term nature is completely unique to this segment. And also we've got writer here, completely over-indexing. Like so, we've got the full table here. Yeah, we've got writer completely over-indexing. So we're getting an idea as to sort of what is unique about these people. Then from there, the next thing we can do is go on to influencers and brands. Okay, so we, as a company, we deliver, or as a product, we deliver the top 20,000 affinities. And then to help you filter those, we have a categorization taxonomy that includes over 300,000 categories, which you can see here. So we've actually manually assigned our influencers to these categories. And you can also filter by content creators as well. So it may be a case that we want to take this away from that social media realm. So rather than looking at people that are big on TikTok or Twitch, we could say we want to see every person in this list that's got a podcast. And in addition to that, we need them to have a following below 100,000. So I'm going to hit apply. And then within a couple of seconds, that list of 20,000 individuals has filtered down to 64 people. That is 64 individuals that our nature writers care about, that also have a podcast and a following below 100,000. Now from there, what essentially you'd be in the position to do is click Actions, export the influencers, send them back to your social listening tool and listen to exactly what they're saying. You're also in the position where you can export any segmented community. So the 637 members we're looking at now, of course you can export those, export segment members, send those back into your social listening tool as well. This is that focus group I mentioned at the beginning of the demo. You can use these individuals to streamline your social listening work. We're eliminating the noise. We're focusing on the most valuable people within that conversation, allowing you to see who's creating the biggest buzz, but see how the message is spread, see how the content is differing between each segment. Now, from there, of course, yeah, you've got access to categorized interests, like so. So these are the interests coming from the International Advertisement Bureau. You can identify your audience by these segments, but you're also in a position where you can see how that relates to the actual segmented communities themselves. Media affinities, we are simply placing their key interests into channels for you. So TV channels, events, magazines, apps that they have been linked to. Like so. Content, this is the top content that they share amongst each other. Any multi-channel content that we can see that's been sent across the segmented community, we can include that within our reports. We can account for it and highlight it to you here. So we've got some news articles, we've got some YouTube clips for these guys, a lot of YouTube. The best thing here for me is that you see the top hashtags. So again, this can help to streamline your social listening work. I skipped over socioeconomic information. This is actually that aggregated data that I mentioned. So this is coming from Facebook. We're essentially matching demographics within the Facebook audience tool that allows us to get an idea, or in a compliant way, what their socioeconomic data is. Personality traits. This is coming from our partnership with IBM Watson. I mentioned that our data engine, we've been able to enrich over 90 million social profiles. And this is it here. So this is telling us that the nature writers, they are seen as more open than anything else. So you've got the big 5 personality dimension here. Open, neurotic, agreeable, extroverted, conscientious. These guys are seen as more open, For that, they're saying their Gmail helpful in particular. Their choices are driven by a desire for efficiency. If we scroll down to open this, yeah, we can see that here. The biggest personality trait is authority challenging. They prefer to challenge authority and traditional values to help bring about change. You can also see what drives them through the needs and values as well. Typically, the agencies and brands we work with use this type of information to create a better tone of voice. Similar to the personality traits is the buying mindset. So we have, IBM and Watson have actually run particular studies to known personality traits, which allows us to have an inferred understanding of what personality traits are more likely to be influenced by, in this case, product utility. It's telling us that the writers, nature writers, are 50% more likely to be influenced by product utility. They over-index for the full audience. They under-index for the full audience for social media. Consumer behavior is highlighting that they are more likely to use credit cards than the full audience, less likely to respond to marketing campaigns, and less likely to indulge in spur-of-the-moment purchases, but more likely to respond to targeted advertising. Last but not least, we deliver to you their online habits. Now, their online habits, essentially the way in which, like I said, we take into account millions of different data points. So for this case, it's actually no surprise that Medium is the top there, as these guys are seen as writers. Medium is a blogging website. There's a good chance that they have shared blogs, they have mentioned things to do with writing or blogs, they could be following things to do with Medium, they may have a URL for their username or their profile within their bio. So we take all of that into account. This is also a really good example of how we're not biased in any way to that largest data source, which the industry has access to, which is Twitter. As you can see, that's just here. Now, last but not least, you may say, okay, these writers, they're the ones that we want to concentrate on. So yes, you are in a position where you can export the segment members from XLS and send them back to your social listening tool. You're also in a position where you can download a targeting pack. That targeting pack translates our insights to multi-channel activation. It gives you the exact affinities that you need to target these people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also DSP. So we have an integration with a company called 50.io, which helps to build out our segments to larger addressable audiences. So that's it. The main summary to take away here is that we provide on-demand actionable insights. We help to complement your social listening work. Our characteristics and personas can help to streamline your survey work. And essentially, we're putting you in a position to get a deeper understanding of a very niche audience and putting you in a position to engage with them in a better way. And we give you the exact targeting criteria that you need. You can simply download it to an Excel spreadsheet and then copy and paste that exact targeting criteria into Facebook ads or into your DSP of choice. Any questions, please feel free to hit me up. It's been really good speaking with you all, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Cheers.